Ooh, I got a new pen and it looks beautiful.
What up, sports fans? Welcome to a new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast presents Sports Brekers. I am Juan, your host, and I am joined by Jay. What's up? What
How's
up,
it
Jay?
going, guys? I
Another
said guys
third.
like there's more than just one person there, but sorry.
Hey, man, there is. There's all the people that we're talking to that are joining us as we have a conversation about WWE Unforgiven 2005. Um, we had two sports podcasts this week. Me and Craig talked college football on Monday, which we now are going to do every other Monday um, until football season kicks off. And then Jay, me and you will rock every other Thursday as we talk some of our favorite WWE, WCW, ECW, any kind of pay per views. Uh, I don't think there's any limit to what we talk about. It doesn't have to be just WWE. So, anyway, man, how's your week been so far? It's been a good week. No technical difficulties. Are you there, Jay? Can you hear me? You there?
I'm here now.
All
My
right,
computer's
cool.
being a pain in the ass. Okay.
No, we're good, man. Did you have a good week?
I ended up checking out the new Twister movie today. That was pretty decent. We'll be
Nice.
talking about it on Tuesday.
Tuesday, man. I can't wait. Especially living here in Oklahoma, it's like the big thing going on this weekend at every single movie theater. So yeah, if you didn't join us last Tuesday, this past Tuesday we talked all about The Crow, which you can go check out now wherever you listen to podcasts at. Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, literally wherever you listen to podcasts at, or you can rewatch it right here on Emiswa Productions YouTube channel. So, um, other than that, man, let's not waste a second. If you guys want to contribute or ask us what maybe to review next, what wrestling show, wrestling match, maybe even spend a whole show talking about a specific match one day. I don't know. You can hit us up on the social media pages, facebook.com/the
Very
Cine-Men Movie
probable.
Podcast, Instagram, all one word, the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. X is at Cine-Men405. And then the Twitter, the email is cinemen921 at gmail.com.
X. Oh.
X. X. Um, Other than that, man, I think we can get ready to dig into this pay per view and talk about it. Unforgiven was held at the Ford Center right here in Oklahoma City, September 18th, 2005. Uh, 8,000 people were in attendance for that pay per view live, and then 243,000 people bought it on pay per view. It was a Raw exclusive pay per view that year,
This was a
and
Raw pay-per-view.
yep, Raw exclusive. It's funny, man. Going back and watching it, this crowd looked a lot more than just 8,000, and it sounded a lot more than 8,000. But the Paycom Center, Ford Center, whatever you want to call
Well,
it
see,
now,
that's what I thought when I was there live.
yeah. Paycom Center holds 19, a little over 19,000, but only 8,000 were in attendance. That's nuts to me. So not even
We're
halfway
reviewing this one
filled.
because we were both there.
Both there, man. That was my first pay per view. That was your second, and going into the show, I was super hyped. I didn't even get tickets like purchasing. I won my tickets through the Cat local radio show here in Oklahoma City. And it's funny because when I went and picked them up, the guy was like, "Yeah, these may not even get you in," and I was like, "Oh, that's funny." They obviously got me in, but the buzz, man. Let's talk about your experience from mine. Um, I feel like the buzz around this entire show was only was only let's get Kurt Angle the WWE Championship. That's the only buzz that I heard around this whole pay per view going into it. What do you remember from it?
Well, I remember getting my tickets that when they went on sale. I was living in Wichita at the time, so it was a pain in the ass to get tickets. But I ended up getting third row seats. You can, if you sit there and watch the show, you can see me at the pay per view right there at the right where the ring post is on the camera side.
You were pretty easy to spot. You look like you were having a hell of a good time though.
Did you see me at all on there?
Yeah, like I said, you were pretty easy to spot. You were in, yeah, like I said, yeah, you were real easy to spot. So, um, but it was an easy. Uh, I like I said, I found it easy to spot you. Um, let's say the buzz going into the pay per view was Kurt Angle Cena, the steel cage match. Looking back at it today, it was a little tough to watch almost sometimes for me. What about you?
Uh, some of them were a lot of the shows.
You there? Jay's having some extreme technical difficulties, almost as extreme as this two match pay per view card. Honestly, almost. Um, but like I said, we'll get into it and talk Unforgiven. So we'll get straight into the Sunday Night Heat match. There's no way to watch the Sunday Night Heat match unless you look it up on YouTube now. But being there live, I remember being bored out of my mind. Um, did
It was only
you?
3 minutes and 44 seconds, but
Yeah, no, it was terrible. Did you find the Sunday Night Heat booth outside before you went in?
yeah, I was out there. I was first row whenever because I had Coach and what was it, Michael Grisham out there
Ty
talking,
Griffin.
hosting Sunday Night Heat from the plat. They had like a stage set, a little platform set up, and they were standing on it.
That's when they
And the
were
way they were
doing.
standing, you could see the crowd behind them. So yeah, I was.
That's when they were doing the whole Sunday Night Heat outside on a stage thing for a little bit, which was pretty
Yeah,
fun.
I was front row. You could see me, and you could see me. I have pictures on my YouTube page where I took pictures of that night.
Man, this is the first and only and last time WWE ever had a pay per view in Oklahoma, and we can pretty much thank Jim Ross for that only opportunity. Wouldn't you say so?
Yeah, uh, I, I was happy for Jim Ross this time. He didn't get beat up in Oklahoma, so it was nice to see that.
I think if he wasn't a part of WWE at the time, I don't think we would have ever gotten a pay per view. What you think?
My internet's spotty as hell tonight, man.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We'll get through it. Um, I would give the Sunday Night Heat match a 0.5. What about you? Some real bad technical difficulties. Um, so we'll get through it. Match opened up
Keep
with
You're gonna have to keep talking about yourself.
yeah. No, you're good. Um, we're live. We're going. We'll do it. Match opened up with Intercontinental Championship. Ric Flair defeated Carlito in the opening match for his first ever and only Intercontinental Championship. He also was able to do his Ric Flair high spots off the top turnbuckle twice, and I think he failed once or twice. But the match went 11 minutes 46 seconds. Carlito was hot at the time, man. He won the U.S. Championship his first night on SmackDown, and then his first night on Raw, he won the Intercontinental Championship from Shelton Benjamin. This match, give or take, I thought it was pretty decent. Um, Probably the only way to open up the show, honestly, unless you wanted to throw the steel cage match out there first. But I thought it was a pretty decent Intercontinental Championship match. What about you? I'd give this match 2 stars, 2 stars out of 5 to open it up. Um, the next match saw Ashley and Trish Stratus in a tag team match defeat Tori Wilson and Victoria, accompanied by Candice Michelle. I can't believe this match went 7 minutes and 5 seconds. I think that's 6 minutes too long. Um, at the time, Trish was gone for like most of the summer. She came back the night after SummerSlam, completely to a big crowd reaction. I was hoping she would defend the women's championship here at this pay per view, but she did not. Um, and she was in this tag match. So I am honestly going to give this tag match a 0.5. Going back and rewatching it, it was absolutely horrific. Did not like anything about it. Maybe the entrances, that'd be it. The third match on the show, which was honestly a complete snoozer as well. I think the only thing, oh, look at this. We got some comments. I believe in Joe Hendry. Um, Everybody else does, man. I think that guy is super hot right now and super over, but for some reason, he's still contractually connected to TNA. And I read something somewhere today that he is with TNA for like another 6 months, I think. So is that maybe the first person since Rob Van Dam in the early 90s who is still contractually obligated to a company but is completely over in the WWE. It's pretty insane. So I don't think that's ever happened before. And I mean, honestly, it's a great time to be a wrestling fan to see stuff like that happening right now. So, Jay, what about you? Are you there?
I'm here. Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yeah. I just got done ranking the women's tag
Well,
team.
what match we talking about?
I'm just now on the Big Show Snitsky match.
All right, I'll go ahead and give my Intercontinental title.
Go ahead.
All right. My Intercontinental title rating for that was a 2-star. And then
Same.
the tag team, women's tag team match was a 1. And then the Big Show Snitsky match was also a 1. It was like watching an episode of Raw with extended matches.
Yeah. Honestly, I felt the same. I gave the Big Show Snitsky
So
match.
far, it seems like a Raw episode.
Yeah, not very entertaining. Other than ZZ
It
Top
wasn't
being
my
ringside.
fault.
Yeah. The next match.
That made me wonder why they were there. Did they live close?
I don't. Toby Keith's place had just opened up that summer. Maybe they were there hanging out, chilling with Toby Keith. Who I don't even want to bring that up. I was going to talk about an experience with him that weekend, but I know he's passed away, and I don't want to bring it up. So, did you do anything the night before, or did you just get to Oklahoma City that day, Jay?
We drove in that day.
Okay,
we drove in that day. Went to the Oklahoma City bombing memorial site.
Because the night before they had
walked around.
The night before they had the Toby Keith dinner, and I went to that, but I didn't know if
they have something going on at Toby Keith's.
Yeah. So I don't know if you'd seen that or not, or if you'd been to that.
Yeah. I did not. I was still in Wichita at that time.
The fourth match was Shelton Benjamin defeating Curran White, 8 minutes 6 seconds. This was a snoozer for sure. What'd you think of?
I gave it a 1.5 stars. It was, even though it had Chavo in it as Kerwin White, it still was a pretty decent match, for what it was. But Not even Shelton and Kerwin White could save the match.
Yeah, I gave that a star and a half too. And Shelton Benjamin was like, dude, he was like on fire, and I think they just needed to put him on the pay per view because he had done so much for that brand the last 6 months. So I would have honestly, I would have liked to see Shelton Benjamin against just a heel Chavo Guerrero. I don't know why they couldn't let him just be a heel Chavo on Raw. So,
They wanted to get that Kerwin White on TV, bro. It
so
ain't white, it ain't right. Is that what they were saying during the pay per view?
yeah, and that went 8 minutes 6 seconds.
It
Probably
was. I thought it was.
um fifth match though, steel cage match, probably the match of the night. Matt Hardy defeated Edge in 21 minutes 33 seconds. Um, I'm honestly going to give it a 3.5. It was a good steel cage match, but for what had
I gave it a
gotten,
3.
yeah, for what it had been built up to, I still don't think it lived up to the hype. What do you think? Match just for it being Matt, for it being Edge, for the bloodbath that had happened at SummerSlam with the Matt Hardy getting hit on the ring post. I just thought this match was going to be a little bit more hellacious, if that makes sense. But honestly, it was
Oh yeah.
it was good, but it wasn't a great steel cage match.
No, it had its moments, but they weren't the main event, so they weren't going to give us all the stops. It was still
I
a pretty
think.
good ladder match. I give it a 3.
Oh yeah, the steel cage. I gave it 3.5. Like I said, I like the finish. Other than that, it was pretty decent. Next matchup, World Tag Team Championship match. Cade Murdoch defeated Hurricane and Rosie in 7 minutes 40 seconds to become the new World Tag Team Champions. Um, Man, again, Hurricane and Rosie carried the tag team division through the summer and lost it to Cade and Murdoch here. I was really high on Cade and Murdoch back in the day. What about you?
I like their finisher. I like the move, the DDT they did, the apron DDT to the Hurricane to put him out. I thought that was a pretty cool little maneuver. But as far as the match goes, I give it a 1. If I could have went up and went to the bathroom, I would have. But I sat there and watched because I didn't know how long it was going to be.
Yeah, I didn't give it much better. I gave it 1.5. Um,
It was like I said, the DDT was pretty badass. How they took out the Hurricane, and then when they hit him with that fucking their clothesline light chop move, I thought that was badass little finisher. I always thought that was a pretty cool little finisher. But
yeah,
other than that,
same man. I think they were a
so
tag team.
far we're 6 matches in. We're 6 matches in, and so far the card has been basically an extended episode of Raw.
Man, we talked about the Great American Bash last month, and it was almost the same thing. It's like these
I,
Raw and SmackDown pay-per-views were just not it back in the day. Some of them are
oh, they
pretty
were.
decent.
Well,
Some of them are
the
decent.
2002 Backlash we watched wasn't that bad.
Uh, Next matchup, you got Shawn Michaels
And then we
defeating
have
Chris Masters, 16 minutes 44 seconds. Not even Shawn Michaels could help Chris Masters.
I give it a 2 star. The match was again another Raw extended match that Shawn tried his best. He made Masters look as good as he could, but yeah, it just wasn't a very good match.
It didn't even they
Even though
didn't
they were
even
given 16 minutes.
well, I feel like they didn't even produce Masters right. Like he was built in as this undefeated badass that nobody could break the master lock. Like he was built undefeated, and it didn't feel like a Shawn Michaels versus the Streak kind of thing. Like Chris Masters had been unbeaten
No,
all summer long. They didn't even put Chris Masters on SummerSlam, and then just boom, like that, he's done. And everybody forgot Chris Masters after this.
yeah,
I gave it a 2 as well.
yeah. You can't call yourself a masterpiece and have a body that everybody else can beat. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Main event time, man. You get another Ric Flair promo. I thought the Ric Flair promos throughout the night were a little noteworthy, annoying on this recent watch. What about you?
I thought they were all right. They were good intermission breaks to get more TV time to Flair.
They were really, really trying to put him over as the Intercontinental Champion. Like I don't know. I've never just been a big Flair.
Yeah,
Flair. I've never been a big
it
Flair
was
guy.
pretty weak in a way.
Yeah. Let's say let's do a little fantasy booking while I got you on and nothing's too spotty real quick. Ric Flair being the equivalent of winning the Intercontinental Championship back in that day, would it almost be like John Cena winning his first Intercontinental Championship if he won it today?
I'd say so. Just because you have a 16-time world champion winning the Intercontinental title for the first time, I'd say so.
That's you think that's a belt he wins in the next 12 months before he hangs it up?
It's very possible on that. I think it's very probable on that because I see Braun Breaker as the next Intercontinental Champion. And a match between him and Braun Breaker would be pretty badass.
Yeah. Main event time. Speaking of the man, John Cena, Kurt Angle defeated John Cena by disqualification, 17 minutes 15 seconds, in a slugfest, kind of back and forth because of the screwy finish. I'm gonna give it a 2. What'd you give it?
I give it a 3, just because, like I said, I was there and the fans were cheering for Angle. This was one of the first moments I started to notice that John Cena was getting booed.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh shit, they put him against the Angle, and even though Angle was a bad guy, everybody loved the way Angle was because he wrestled real well. And John Cena comes in, and he can't wrestle very well. He's the new guy, and the story wasn't being bought. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And this is the second time they went off together to pay-per-view this year. They also were in a number 1 contenders match at No Way Out February before. Winner would go against JBL at WrestleMania. So to me, they've always had kind of decent matches, but this one, I just didn't like Eric Bischoff in the finish. I didn't like the disqualification ending. If you're going to give me these two, give me John Cena in a controversial 1-2-3 pin. That's how I wanted to see the match end. But obviously the story would continue, and they would have their final championship match, I believe, at a Survivor Series in November. So they went 2 more times on pay-per-view. So, and this was John Cena's very first.
Yeah, I enjoyed the match for what it was. The DQ finish was kind of lame.
Yeah, and this was John Cena's first WWE Championship run. So that was pretty interesting. Going back almost 20 years, man. So
20 years on this paper.
That's insane.
Don't you feel old?
Yeah. Give or take what it is, like I was excited to talk about Unforgiven. It was a Raw only pay-per-view, the first and last time they were in Oklahoma City for a WWE pay-per-view. They'll actually be here again in just a few weeks. Honestly, September 27th, they'll be here for SmackDown, which I've seen that tickets are pretty close to a sellout. It'd be nice if they had a PLE here in the next few years. I don't see it happening. Probably depends on if they sell out here or not in September. Still probably not.
I think they'll sell out.
And that's not even like no names have been advertised yet. Cody Rhodes isn't advertised for right now, and that's kind of scaring me, honestly, because he's the only reason I bought tickets. But yeah, man, other than that, I'm going to give this entire pay-per-view, Unforgiven 2005, I'm going to give it a 2. It was honestly...
I'll give it a 2.5.
It was really hard to go back and rewatch. So...
Yeah, it was... I had fun rewatching it just because I was there, but as far as the show goes itself, it was shit.
Yeah. And it's available
it's
now.
It's an 8-match card with only 2 matches on it.
Yeah. and it's available now streaming on pay-per-view or on Peacock. I will say I love the whole build-up going into it. With this being here in Oklahoma City, I was able to go to the Unforgiven press conference. When tickets went on sale, I was able to go meet and greet Jim Ross and Ric Flair. Ric Flair was a complete asshole. I hated seeing Ric Flair when tickets went on sale. Because he was signing everybody's personal items, and then he was signing the Unforgiven poster, and I gave him my Evolution magazine with Triple H, Batista, and himself on it, and he looked at it and then just slid it down the table. Fucking asshole. Jim Ross signed it though. He signed over Batista's
I should
picture.
have told you right there that the Evolution.
What?
That should have told you right there that Evolution was going to split up.
No, the Evolution had already split up when I went and seen him. So, and then
That might have been why I didn't want to sign it. He's like, oh, fuck this shit. I'm not signing this.
John Cena was at the state fair.
John Cena what?
John Cena was at the state fair a few weeks before this. So they did a really good job promoting and just being in the city and state of Oklahoma City during this time. Man, I just can't believe nobody showed up. 8,000 people. I'm like, man, why not? You know?
Yeah, everybody that I went with, they were hoping to see RVD, but RVD didn't have a match on the show. He was injured.
Oh yeah, he had that knee issue, right?
Yeah, he broke his leg or some shit like that.
Yeah. Triple H was also out. Triple H wasn't there, and he ended up showing up, I think, 2 weeks later on a random Monday Night Raw.
Wasn't it their Raw homecoming? Wasn't it their Raw homecoming that they?
That's I think that's where he
I remember them having a Raw homecoming.
They did a few weeks later. I think that's where he showed up and turned his back on Ric Flair, and they started their feud. So, other than that, man, I think due to some technical difficulties, we'll try to get out of here. Do you have any?
My internet's been shit tonight, guys. I'm sorry about that out there in podcast land.
Do you have any final thoughts on Unforgiven before we get out of here?
No, just that I had fun going to it. It was a fun little family experience and everything. Just getting to be with everybody and hang out. I went earlier in the day. I went to the Oklahoma City Bombing Memorial site, hung out there for a little bit. I think we did have Toby Keith's Bar and Grill for lunch that day. So, it was a pretty decent little weekend.
It was a fun event. Hopefully, we get to share another pay-per-view together real soon.
I hope so.
Yeah. I mean, I only got to.
I haven't been to a Raw or SmackDown or anything in like 3 years.
I went to a Raw like 2 years ago, so this will be my first show in 2 years. I haven't been to a pay-per-view since 2019, so I need to get back on that bandwagon and try to save up and go to something like that. So, other than that, man, I think we're gonna get out of here for Unforgiven 2005 Tuesday. I can't stress this enough. We're still talking Oklahoma. Tuesday, we will be talking Twister, which was filmed right here in Oklahoma. Twisters, Glenn Powell, a huge film that's getting released tonight, or right now it's in theaters. So go check it out, and we'll talk about it Tuesday, July 23rd, 7 p.m. on another new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast.